So we're going to have a chat about motivation and using authority. And authority is one of those strange things. It's one of those things that in reality you can't really claim. It's inferred by other people around you. And in certain cultures, if you don't have a level of authority in one way or another, basically your value in society is virtually zero. So, and authority can be inferred by the way you dress. So the classic sort of thing would be with police officers, firemen, even traffic wardens, that the uniform gives them a level of authority, and the more sort of bray and bluster there is with it, the higher perceived level of authority. In some countries you see that going to absurd levels. There's also like a uniform even for like a businessman or some other type of profession like a doctor. So the uniform for a doctor is obviously the white coat, and that infers authority and credibility. And for the businessman, the suit. So if we bring it into the idea of credibility, credibility is quite a strange thing in its own right. And again, your credibility comes from other people. And I like to think of it as a term, as like credit. It's accrued by your past actions, and your credibility can work either for you or against you, almost like a negative credibility, reputation more or less. So authority in itself comes from the experience you've got in a certain situation, and people knowing that you have that experience. It can be to do with you as a person, so the way you carry yourself, but without the experience that really doesn't come to much. Your authority can be affected by another person's previous experiences around dealing with people in the same role that you've got, and they can be either very negative or very positive. If they happen to be positive, they'll view you in a certain way, a positive light. And if they happen to be negative, unfortunately, it rubs the other way. They view you in a negative light. You'll see the use of status symbols as part of authority. So if you think about someone who's driving a three-wheeler Robin Reliant, yellow one, compared to someone who happens to drive a brand new Bentley, they'll be viewed very, very differently, even before they open their mouth or say anything. Authority in one environment is not necessarily transferable to another. So you might be seen as an authority figure at work, but when you go home, you're just you. So I'm going to talk about in the next video some of the bits that link into developing an air of authority about yourself.